So here's a question that's about to save some of you a lot of money and frustration and possibly a year of staring at a phone that's slowly giving up on life. Should you wait for the iPhone 18 or just buy the iPhone 17 right now? And I think the answer is way more obvious than the internet wants you to believe. I know, waiting for the next big thing is practically a hobby at this point. It's the tech equivalent of not eating the marshmallow. Except in this case, the marshmallow is already pretty great, and the second marshmallow might not show up for another 14 months. So maybe just eat the marshmallow. Let me explain. This fall, Apple is doing something they've never really done before. They're splitting the iPhone 18 launch into two separate events. The more expensive models, the iPhone 18 Pro, Pro Max, and the brand new iPhone Fold, are expected to launch in September 2026. But the standard iPhone 18 and iPhone 18e, those are reportedly getting pushed to early 2027. That's not September. That's not even the same calendar year. That's like ordering dinner and being told your appetizer is coming next spring. And this isn't just one rumor. Multiple sources, Bloomberg, Nikkei Asia, supply chain analysts, are all pointing to the same staggered timeline. This would be the first time Apple has skipped an entire fall cycle without releasing a new standard iPhone. Let that sink in. So if you're sitting there with an iPhone 14 or older, thinking I'll just hold out a few more months for the iPhone 18, those few months might actually be 12 to 14 months. Your phone isn't holding out. Your phone is writing its resignation letter. It's already mentally checked out. The battery percentage isn't a number anymore. It's a cry for help, which brings me to the phone that's just sitting there, ready, available, in stores right now, not in a rumor, not in a leak thread, not in someone's Weibo post that got translated 3 times and now sounds like a riddle. The iPhone 17. Now, what caught my attention about this phone isn't one spec, it's the collection of upgrades that quietly close the gap between the standard and Pro models in a way Apple hasn't done before. For the first time ever, the base iPhone 17 has a 120 Hz ProMotion display with an adaptive refresh rate that dips down to 1 Hz. That was a Pro exclusive feature since the iPhone 13 Pro. 4 years of being locked behind the more expensive phone, and now it's standard. The always-on display comes along with it. You can glance at the time, check your notifications, see your widgets, all without waking your phone. If you're coming from an iPhone 15 or older with a 60 Hz screen, this alone will feel like upgrading from a flip book to a cinema. You'll never be able to go back. You'll try to use a friend's older iPhone, and it'll feel like scrolling through peanut butter. The screen is also slightly larger, 6.3 inches, up from 6.1, with slimmer bezels, ceramic shield 2, with 3 times better scratch resistance, and peak outdoor brightness of 3,000 nits. That's 1,000 more nits than the iPhone 16. Apple looked at sunlight and said, "Challenge accepted. Your screen is now brighter than your future." And I mean that as a compliment. And then there's the camera. The iPhone 17 has two 48 megapixel rear cameras, a wide and an ultra wide. That ultra wide is the real story. The iPhone 16's ultra wide was 12 megapixels. This is 48. That's 4 times the resolution in a sensor most people didn't even think about. The 18 megapixel front-facing camera is another genuine upgrade, especially with center stage, which zooms out to fit more people or switches from portrait to landscape orientation automatically. You don't even have to rotate the phone. The phone reads the room better than most people at parties. Battery life, Apple says up to 30 hours of video playback on a single charge. That's 8 hours more than the iPhone 16. In real world use, multiple reviewers have reported getting more than a day on moderate use. Your phone lasting a full day shouldn't feel like an achievement, but here we are in 2026 celebrating phones that don't die before dinner like it's some kind of Olympic event. Now, here's where the article I was reading made a point that I think a lot of people overlook. If you want to further bridge the gap between this year's iPhone and next year's model, you could spend more on the iPhone 17 Pro. It has the A19 Pro chip, a triple lens camera system with a 48 megapixel telephoto that does 8 times optical quality zoom, a vapor chamber cooling system, and the best battery life of any iPhone ever. One reviewer called it easily one of the best designed smartphones ever. And honestly, that camera plateau design is the most significant visual overhaul in years. It's like Apple finally let the cameras feel like part of the phone instead of an afterthought that got bolted on at the last minute. But here's the thing that made me pause. The iPhone 17 Pro starts at $1,099. The iPhone 17 starts at $799. That's a $300 difference. And for the majority of people, not tech reviewers, not camera enthusiasts, not people who need 8 times zoom to photograph a pigeon from across the park, the base iPhone 17 does more than enough. The display upgrade alone would have justified the purchase. Everything else is gravy. Very expensive, very smooth, 120 hertz gravy. And if you really want to save money, there's the iPhone 17e. Yes, it's still at 60 hertz, and yes, it only has one rear camera, but it gets the job done for a competitive price. Think of it as the iPhone that shows up to work, does its job, doesn't complain, and leaves on time. Not flashy, but reliable. The kind of coworker you actually want. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the iPhone 18. The rumors look exciting, I'll give you that. Variable aperture cameras, potentially under display Face ID, a smaller dynamic island, an A20 chip on a 2 nanometer process. New colors, including a coffee brown, because apparently Apple has decided that your phone should match your latte. But here's where the excitement needs a reality check. First, the under-display Face ID. Recent leaks suggest it might not even make it into the iPhone 18 Pro. A fresh report from Digital Chat Station says Apple may reuse the iPhone 17 Pro's molds, meaning the dynamic island stays the same size. That feature we all basically assumed was confirmed? Apparently not. Rumors had been circulating so long that everyone treated it like a fact. It's like when someone tells a story enough times that even they believe it happened that way. Except this time, the story has a plot twist. Second, the standard iPhone 18 won't be out until early 2027. That's not a wait a couple months situation. That's a wait over a year situation. If your phone is currently struggling, asking it to survive another 14 months is not patience. That's cruelty. Your phone has feelings. Okay, it doesn't, but your battery does. And it's at 72% maximum capacity, which means it's basically running on nostalgia and willpower. Third, when the iPhone 18 Pro does arrive in September 2026, it's expected to start at the same $1,099 price point as the current 17 Pro. And the iPhone Fold, that's rumored at $1,999 or more. So if you're waiting for the iPhone 18 because you think it'll be a better value, it won't be cheaper. It might be better, but better at the same price as last year's better isn't the deal you think it is. And that brings me to the real question that nobody in the leak cycle asks. Who is this decision actually for? If you're on an iPhone 16 or 17, yeah, you can wait. You're fine. Your phone works. It's not gasping for air. You're in the clear. Go enjoy your life. Touch grass. Your phone is not your personality. Well, mostly. But if you're on an iPhone 14 or older, especially an iPhone 12 or 13, the iPhone 17 isn't a minor upgrade, it's a multi-generational leap. New display technology, new processor architecture, new camera system, new front-facing camera with features that didn't exist 2 years ago. You're jumping forward 2, 3, maybe 4 years of improvements all at once. You're going to open the box and your face is going to do that thing where your eyebrows go up and you whisper, "Oh, wow," to nobody. We've all been there. And here's the psychology piece that I think gets missed in every should you wait article, Most people don't upgrade annually. Most people upgrade every 2 to 4 years. And the thing is, every iPhone in that span gets reviewed against its direct predecessor. So the iPhone 17 gets compared to the iPhone 16, and the improvement looks modest. But compared to the iPhone 14 or the 13 or the 12 Pro that you've been babying for 4 years, the iPhone 17 might as well be from the future. It's like showing up to your high school reunion and realizing everyone's aged except you, except you're a phone and you have 120 hertz and you're glowing at 3000 nits. Online discourse optimizes for what's newest. Real people optimize for what's noticeably better than what they already have. And the iPhone 17 answers that question emphatically for anyone more than one generation behind. Here's the part that sealed it for me. One analyst noted that the iPhone 18 won't bring significantly different prices. The standard iPhone 18, when it eventually comes out in 2027, will likely be priced similarly to the current iPhone 17. So you'd be waiting 12 to 14 months to pay roughly the same amount for a phone that might have a slightly better chip and a few design tweaks. That's not a deal, that's a time penalty. It's like standing in line for a restaurant that serves the same food as the one next door that's completely empty. Sir, the table is right there. There's also a strategic layer here. Apple's decision to delay the standard iPhone 18 isn't random. One reason is supply chain control. Spreading production across 2 phases helps manage memory shortages and component costs, especially with AI servers consuming global memory supply. Another is marketing. By launching the Pro models and the Fold first, Apple captures the premium headlines. Then, months later, the standard models get their own spotlight instead of being overshadowed. It's like releasing the blockbuster sequel in summer and the indie darling in February. Each gets its moment. But for consumers, that strategy means the iPhone 17 will be Apple's most current standard model for over 18 months. That's an unusually long shelf life, and it means buying one now doesn't feel like buying something that's about to be replaced. You're not getting last season's phone, you're getting the current phone with the longest window of relevancy Apple has ever offered for a base model. So here's what I think. If your phone works fine and you're genuinely curious about what 2 nanometer silicon variable aperture cameras and satellite internet look like in a finished product, wait, you have that luxury, use it. But if you need a new phone or your battery has become a daily anxiety exercise, or you're tired of watching your friends' phones load things while yours is still thinking about it, the iPhone 17 is right there, proven, reviewed, available in 5 colors, including lavender, which honestly looks fantastic. Waiting for the iPhone 18 when the iPhone 17 already delivers this much is like refusing to eat a perfectly good meal because someone told you the restaurant is updating the menu next year. The food is here, it's good, eat. The internet will always tell you to wait. There's always something newer coming, there's always a reason to hold off. But at some point, the smartest tech decision isn't predicting the future, it's recognizing that the present is already pretty great. And right now, the present is the iPhone 17, and it's genuinely more phone than most people realize. The memes about the iPhone 18 will come. The hype cycle will spin. Someone will leak a blurry photo of a coffee-colored iPhone, and the internet will lose its mind for exactly 48 hours. But the people who already bought the iPhone 17, they'll be too busy actually using their phones to notice. And honestly, that might be the best flex of all. Catch you next one. Peace. Make